The United States men did well in the qualifying competition a few days ago in Rotterdam at the World Championships. They were third best behind traditional powers, China and Japan. Men's gymnastics is a sport of 6 individual events, but in the team competition, the entire dynamic changes. The athletes feed off each other's success and pick each other up after mistakes. For one American veteran on this team, that makes all the difference.
I prefer Team Worlds over anything. It's really what gets me going. My heart and soul goes into Team USA. When I know I'm competing for more than myself, I'm able to pull myself out of this hole, regardless of how I feel, and put everything out there on the floor, and that's what I kind of live for. And our dynamic is just ridiculous. We're here on a mission, and that's to be on the medal podium. And I think every single one of us would agree that competing for each other is so much greater than anything you can do as an individual.
And they will have to be Team USA to have success here today. Welcome to Universal Sports coverage of the 2010 World Gymnastics Championships. In the Netherlands, Rotterdam is the second city to Amsterdam, but they've had a good year. The starting place for the 2010 Tour de France, and now the center of the gymnastics world. Under blue skies, we're inside the Ahoy Arena for the men's team final. All 6 apparatus in play, and team depth is everything. 3 athletes per nation. All scores count, so one mistake can be devastating. We zoom in on Team USA as they get set to perform on the still rings. But what is their mental state right now? You see, the first rotation did not start well for the men from the United States, but it wasn't just Chris Cameron, Tim Daggett.
No, it was the entire team, both Chris Brooks and Danelle Leva on the pommel horse. They really struggled. And this kid right here, he was chosen for the team for this event. That is really tough to come back from.
Elfie Schlegel, the Chinese, not spectacular, but not top 3 either. We're not used to seeing that.
Yeah, and this is from a newcomer here, and, really putting in a fair performance. Technically, they do very well, but a solid one.
We've watched Fabian Hambuchen become a man from a little boy, and he's still the rock of the Germans.
Yeah, I tell you, and he has looked great at these championships, and they are on fire. They're the current European champions as team.
At the top, we have a surprise. The team from South Korea is #1 for now.
And this is huge. Watch this. 2.5 twists. It's just crazy hard, and bam.
And so after the first of 6 rotations, the United States knows that it may have a mission impossible on its hands. China has some coming back to do down in 5th. Top 3, Korea, France, and Germany. The United States, 8.1 behind. Welcome, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig, along with Olympic gold medalist Tim Daggett and Elfie Schlegel. This leaderboard, Tim, what's going on here?
Absolutely crazy. Well, at the top of the leaderboard, you see South Korea, and that is going to change. Vault changes everything. It is by far the highest scoring event. And the USA, they knew in preparation for these worlds that pommel horse would be their Achilles heel. And not only did they come here with a weak team, but then they had a devastatingly bad performance.
Now, great coaches prepare their teams for adversity, but I'm not sure any coach could prepare a team to be down 8 points after 1 rotation.
Well, they say they are a team, and they're all about that in their performance. And, they've started slowly before in past championships like a Worlds or Olympic Games for that matter. And this team, what they pride themselves on is pulling back, getting back in the competition. They do have some very strong events to look forward to, vaulting, parallel bars, and high bar. They're one of the strongest teams here.
Team USA will be tested in every way. Tim, let's talk about the Chinese. Great. With a capital G in Beijing. What's the difference now?
Unbelievable. They won by over 7 points in Beijing, and they won 7 of 8 of the gold medals that were possible to win in the men's gymnastics championships. This, however, very different team. They're good, very good, but they're not like that team.
What's going to be very interesting right now is that we're going to watch the world coverage of this event. There are people maybe not from the United States deciding what pictures to be seen, and they may think the United States is totally out of it. We'll see how it affects their coverage. Meanwhile, they know where to start. They start with the Chinese, and they do that with Yan Mingyang on the pommel horse. Tim, what makes this apparatus so darn tough?
Well, it is all about balance, and because your body is swinging in these circles, your shoulders have to move exactly opposite where your feet are. And if that doesn't happen, with momentum, you're going to come off the pommel horse.
And to me, this apparatus, as much as any, if not more, can make you look great one moment, and then at the snap of a finger.
Instant. It's incredible.
And of course the goal here, look at his body position, trying to stay level like a table, and as Tim mentioned, not touching the pommels. Those are deductions.
But this so far has been a great routine. You know, they are in fifth after one rotation, but no way will they stay there. They've got some huge events coming up. All he has is the dismount. This has been great.
Oops.
Oh, and that is big right there. If you change, if you are going up and your upward motion stops and you go back down, you are not supposed to get the dismount credit. That'll be 0.5 of a point, and then another bunch of deductions. That was bad.
How about the handwork?
Beautiful. Just great basics. Beautiful position on the pommels, but you know, the last thing those judges see is bad, and that's not good.
He got clobbered 13.2. Okay, you might think Jonathan Horton hates being out there right now, but he doesn't.
No, he doesn't at all. He's loving this, and he actually, this is his first event that he's competing on. He did not do the pommel horse, but I believe he'll do everything else from here on out.
And Chris Cameron had a very low score on the rings, so this is a very crucial routine.
All about positions, being rock solid. Little bit of a hiccup there. Got to hold them for a full 2 seconds.
John scored a 15.5 in the qualification round. He's looking to better that score.
This really is one of John's best events. He qualified high into the all-around finals. Rings really helps him. Very strong so far. And wow, bang.
Finally something good. Chris Cameron's 13.8 was not the start on still rings that the team wanted, but Jonathan Horton gives them some good news potentially.
Strength parts, you have to hold him 2 seconds. He does. Look at this. Bam.
We are just getting started at these World Championships. At the European Championships earlier in 2010, Germany took the gold medal, but that was a European Championships without Russia. This is Matthias Farag. He's 24 years old, made the team in Athens 04, did not make the team for Beijing in 08. And we know that gymnastics at this level is an everyday deal. And in 04, he was able to make that commitment. In 08, he was not. And now apparently, Elfie, he is.
Well, he is, but in 08, he was actually kicked off the team. So he's saying that gymnastics wasn't his top priority. He appreciates the federation giving him a break, but we know that he was kicked off the team.
And he is wildly powerful. He makes this super difficult vault look so easy. Look at him, he hardly runs.
Gosh, he did that in warm-up too.
Really great. I tell you, I'm very impressed with the German team so far at these championships. They've had a lot of adversity, but you see the power that he generates. This is just huge air.
And this vault went 16.1 in the first day of team competition.
You won truly. An early answer to the question of whether South Korea can remain in first place.
Well, he'll help him a lot because he's great here. He's constantly making finals at the biggest events and silver medalist on parallel bars at the Beijing Olympic Games.
As well as World Championships back in 2006. But the interesting thing about the Koreans, the South Korean teams, you have these moments of greatness and then these really horrible moments that they would like to erase.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's like you look at it and you go, a gymnast that great shouldn't do that. Look at this combination. High-flying gymnastics.
to 16.1.
That's crazy. Great vaulter. Whoops.
A little bit of a struggle there, but only a 10th. Oh, that right
That's
there.
a little more.
Going to be 3+. But his difficulty is just phenomenal on parallel bars. He does everything. Little bit of arch in that handstand right there. The problem, though, lands locked leg. Can't stick that way.
All right, well, wait on that score. This is Tang Haibin. He's been around the Chinese gymnastics team for a long time.
Yeah, he was not a member in 2008, but was in 2004, and he is Olympic champion on this event right here.
Isn't that amazing? From 2004 to 2008, I mean, we just really haven't seen much of him, and he's still capable of this.
Well, what the Chinese are known for on pommel horse, look at how high his hips are away from the pommel. See right there, he has all this clearance.
Gorgeous. I mean, how many times do we see male competitors just smacking the horse, and he's making it look way too easy.
Yeah, very, very good. I can't believe that he was on the team in 04 and not in 08, and he's here. I can't believe it.
He actually anchored the Chinese team.
Well, he anchored that right there with a...
And look how animated. They have been extremely animated here, like pumping their fists, and wow, they are loose.
But beautiful extension. See how high his hips are away from the horse. A great rhythm throughout the entire exercise.
It's just a treat to watch. Fantastic work.
It's going to be a big score.
And an arm injury, but those do happen.
Yeah, they hurt, man. That's from all those upper arm, those release skills. They kill.
Tang Haibin gets a 15.466, and the last place Americans are moving on, trying to get this comeback started.
Bragging right.
More gymnastics at the Ahoy Arena in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Germany, the most consistent nation so far through 2 rotations. They surge into the lead, Russia right behind. China drops a spot, and the United States remains last. So the Germans have to be feeling very energized as they move to the parallel bars, and we move to the 3rd rotation here on Universal Sports. Lu Bo is on the rings.
Very strong athlete. Once again, you have to hold all of these strength parts for 2 full seconds.
He scored 15.2 for his team on day 1.
But you know, China sitting in 6th at this point. Right now is where it's going to all go away because they've got 3 super ring guys. I mean, super. And then they're going to go to vault, and it'll be out of the park.
Here they come.
Yeah, great start. Wow.
Think about that. The Chinese men, 7 out of the 8 gold medals available in Beijing.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, did we hear that anthem quite a few times? It was unbelievable.
And at last year's World Championships, they actually had 4 individual event finalists, medalists. They didn't send an all-around guy to that event, just individual finalists.
Yeah, in gymnastics in Beijing, it almost got to the point where we could sing the anthem along with them.
Yeah, the amount of preparation and resources that went into it was absolutely astounding.
Lu Bo receives a 15.2. So the South Koreans take a hit after leading in the 2nd rotation. Here's Yu-Won Chul on the high bar.
And he actually has a very nice high bar routine as well, capable of getting a big score.
I think I saw an Olympic rings tattoo on his left shoulder.
Yeah, South Korean. That's amazing, right? So when you pick up speed like that, you're going to do a release. Huge. Oh. Oh, another error. And that was low, too.
Oh, he caught his left foot.
Wow.
You know,
he has been all over the place on this routine.
This is exactly what we see time and time again.
And that was another huge error.
Great events, and then something like this.
He's like, get me off this bar. Just get me.
Yikes.
And then hands down.
Oh, dear.
So Korea drops from first to third and now may keep falling.
This big release, too close to the bar, and doesn't have enough power to generate a giant swing out of it. But he was fighting from start to finish. You see the foot hit the bar there? That's 0.5 of a point for touching the apparatus. He's just glad he's done.
Yeah, Philip Boy of Germany.
And wow, have the Germans done a tremendous job. And they have so many things up against them. Their national champion, Marcel Nguyen, he broke his leg recently, so they are without him. And their star, yes, Fabian, has an injury to his Achilles, only competing on 4 events instead of 6.
But Philip is second in the individual all-around standings going into the top 24. That's amazing.
Very clean gymnast. Good lines, nice execution.
We were in that arena in Stuttgart when this team won the bronze medal. It was quite electric.
Beautiful, beautiful gymnastics. Perfectly straight handstand, great open shoulder. And wow.
That is a statement.
That was phenomenal. Now it doesn't have the level of difficulty that we'll see from some of the Chinese and Japanese, but just tremendously beautiful gymnastics.
Tim, he scored 15-4 in the first day.
So Yuan Chul gets hammered, 12.466. There goes third place. We move across the room to Chen Yibing. China just sends one at you and then another. And
he's the only one that competed in Beijing at these World Championships.
He did pretty good too. He won this event.
Yeah, not bad.
He is monster strong.
Now, he was one of the individuals they sent last year to the World Championships. He didn't qualify for rings finals.
This right here, that is just outrageous. He has to generate momentum from one super hard strength hold position. And He'll do it again right here.
And I'm counting 3 seconds. He goes a little beyond the 2 second.
Yeah, he's had some
show off
shoulder problems last year, and they look like they made him go away. I need to talk to his doctor.
Scored 16 on day 1. Oh, gorgeous.
Huge routine.
Tim, how amazing is it that the Chinese are this ready and the Olympics are 2 years away?
Yeah, you know, I mean, they feel like they are the dominant force in gymnastics, and actually they feel that nobody's even close.
Meanwhile, Philip Boy puts up a very solid 15.4. That will definitely help the Germans stay in medal contention. Here's the Fabian that Tim and Elfie were talking about. This is Fabian Hambuchen, and we say it all the time. We've watched this kid grow up. He started a little tiny guy with glasses, and
do you remember that? Oh.
And now he's still the youngest on the German team. He's still only 22.
He's had so many competitions, so many international events. He loves coming to the United States. Was at our American Cup this year.
Has won that in the past, not this year.
He says the only thing missing from his resume is a gold at the Olympics.
actually had a very disappointing Olympic Games. He did win a bronze on the horizontal bar, but he expected to factor in the all-around and to win gold on high bar.
Now, how can he have an Achilles injury and still do this dismount?
Well, you know, it certainly hurts, but running down for vault or floor exercise.
And he sticks it.
Yeah.
He's done so many of those dismounts. The timing's right on. He knows exactly how to absorb a dismount like that.
Look out for Germany.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
In first place coming into this third rotation. And no cracks.
You know, they've really been moving up since those World Championships in Stuttgart in 2007. Just great success they're having.
Transitions to the side rails. Very nicely done. And they're great on high bar coming up next. They are great.
Chen score.
Oh,
16. We haven't seen many of those.
wow. Sixth place, no more. That's for sure.
China's coming up. Let's go to their third. Remember, 3 gymnasts per rotation, and all the scores count. Yang Mingyong, 25 from the huge city of Shanghai.
He is actually the current world champion on this event right here. Hasn't looked as great as he did at the last World Championships, though. Very strong, but just not quite as crisp. Oh.
Still got a 15.6 in the first team competition. I love that.
You know, the Chinese are on a big event score-wise. USA currently on vault. A big opportunity for them.
Just perfect positions. No question about the length of time that he's holding these strength elements.
Brooks got a 15.833. Jonathan Horton 15.5 plus. So they are on the comeback trail. Yeah, I was just going to say, this is an exhausting routine. It's so long. And he showed a little bit of it. Yeah.
It's a little celebration.
Well, Jan was literally over the top. Fabian Hambuchen gets a 15.33. The third rotation continues.
Amato Williams.
You're looking at the youngest member of the Russian contingent, David Belyavisky, 18 years of age. Now, the Russians didn't get to the European Championships this year because of that volcanic ash that floated from Iceland over almost the entire continent of Europe. They just couldn't make the flights. And so this is their first real major international test of the year. Where is Russian gymnastics right now for the men?
I think it's on an upswing, but they still have a ways to go. And, you know, they suffered such a devastating blow last year right after the World Championships. Yuri Razanov, who came away with a bronze medal in the all-around, on his way home after they got off the plane, was tragically killed in an automobile accident. And very hard for that team to rally. Actually, I've heard the Russian women dedicated their gold to Yuri in his honor. But this is a very strong routine. I like this kid.
Talking, you know, this is his first big event.
He's got a lot of ability. 18 years old. He looks like a young 18-year-old too. Definitely will be a bigger factor. He's already very good now, but
he's got a lot of grit and determination. Look at that fight on the dismount. He knows the value of stuck landings.
Now we get to the Japanese and Kenya Kobayashi.
Making his World Championship debut as well.
I can tell you, and we will not see it, but Stephen Legendre on the vault, a 16.233, maybe the Americans are starting to get back into this picture.
Yeah, well, they're going to move way up, and that number in the vault is just gigantic. But really, at this point of the competition, if you look at where everybody has to go still, or hasn't been to, it's going to be a race between China and Japan, and it looks like it could be close. Nice strength parts. Japan has had such a storied history.
Are they still the Wright brothers on the high bar?
They're fantastic, yeah. They're high flyers.
Obviously not as strong as what we just saw from the Chinese. That cracks me up. He's got his eyes closed. He did score 15 in the first team event. 15 on rings.
Very solid. Just put it to your feet. Oh, little bit of a stumble there. That's going to be more than 3/10 of a point off. Double twisting double, so that's 2 flips and 2 twists. Got to spot that floor. Comes in a little short on the landing, takes that big step forward.
Why do you think he closed his eyes? Was he fighting it?
No, I think he probably just, it's what he does. You know, at that point in time, he's, believe it or not, for a gymnast, sometimes you get strong enough that that strength part is actually almost a rest.
Checked in on Belyavisky. 14.7 was his score. Now this is Hamilton Sabot, who was part of the French team that finished 8th in Beijing at the Olympics, but he's never been in a World Championships, oddly enough.
And sadly, the French are missing out. Benoit Caranobe, who was their bronze medalist at the Beijing Olympic Games, was injured here. He's not part of the team.
He actually started the competition, but was injured during it, tore his Achilles tendon. He has a nice long line, which looks great. A lot of these Stalter type elements and pirouetting things makes the major releases much more challenging, though.
Very smooth.
So this is one of those routines that, you know, meets a lot of the requirements, but it doesn't knock your socks off, that's for sure.
He's missing the high-flying acrobatics.
Sabot makes the French statement. Kobayashi 15.0. That's it for the 3rd rotation.
The Grand Prix season kicks off in Japan.
Heavy winds blowing in off the harbor here in Rotterdam, the Netherlands, Holland if you prefer, the 2010 Gymnastics World Championships. This is the men's team final. We're at the halfway mark. Germany remains in front. Russia is also still there. France has climbed into the mix. China back from 6th to 4th. And the United States, even with that big Stephen Legendre score on the vault, remains in last place. And what's interesting is that right next to them is Japan.
Yeah, they proved me wrong. I thought for sure with that vaulting effort that they were, USA was going to move up. Amazing to me. They got closer, but.
Here's Koji Uematsu of Japan.
Yeah, and speaking of vault, you're going to see some high scores. This one's valued out of a 6.6.
And it was a good vault. Big stumbles on the landing, but you know, he doesn't, I don't think that he finishes the twist. When he lands, he should be completely facing forwards right when he hits, and he does not. That should be a significant deduction.
15.533.
Which they did not take.
That's a huge score.
Yeah. Yeah, that was too much.
Not to mention the runs after.
Well, let's see if David Belyavisky can follow up his last routine with something good on the high bar. None of us will ever forget who were in the room in Athens when the Russian gymnast Alexei Nemov did what he did on the high bar, and the judges scored it low, and there was booing and cheering, and it's just one of those amazing things in gymnastics.
Yep.
And let's see, that's 6 years ago, so Mr. Belyavisky was 12. You have to figure he watched all that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's one thing about the Russian athletes. They all know who came before them. They know the great names.
Well, there are so many of them.
Yeah, they have tradition.
A lot of them are now in the United States coaching. Oh, and that's too bad. That was a big error. He was supposed to travel over the bar. Had to cover up.
First gymnast on partner bar for Great Britain.
But he has so much going for him. The lines, he's so clean, smooth.
That was beautiful right there.
I mean, never mind. This is an unbelievable experience for him.
Got a great future, but that was not a great routine.
It's Kohei Uchimura, the reigning all-around world champion.
And I'll tell you, he is an icon in the gymnastics community. Oh, that was beautiful. Oh.
Scored 16.25.
That was fabulous. The thing that is so great about it, he's the essence of what gymnastics is supposed to do. He does the super hard stuff, and he makes it look so easy. That is so hard to try to stick that ball, and he does. Wow.
16.25. That's one of the highest we've seen.
Wow.
Belyavisky, the judges were watching, 14.433. Now more Japanese gymnastics. Koji Yamamura. Remember, Japan is just like the United States. They're way down at the bottom. They need some huge numbers. They need a comeback.
Well, this will be big.
One of the biggest vaults in the competition. Actually, 3 twists around. Very difficult. Starts at a 17.
And he got a 16.3 in the first team event.
Huge power and 3. Come on, keep going, keep going.
It's complete.
Dead center there. Just that step to the side, but that'll help.
16.4. Here come the Japanese. Now, while this was happening, the Russians were having more difficulties over on the high bar. This is Maxim Devyatovsky.
And gymnastics 101 on a release, you also got to regrasp. And he will lose the value of that skill and incur a full point deduction. And I'll tell you, that it's kind of bad news for Russia, because Devyatovsky has been known to not be the best fighter after he's had an error.
Now, they were in second place. They've taken their hits here in this rotation. France is behind them. The problem for Russia may be that China is getting their act together. We'll see how the Germans handle first place when we continue on Universal Sports.
I'm Montel Williams.
Fourth of 6 rotations at the men's team final at the World Championships. The Chinese men have been a little like an EKG. Start out as the favorites, drop to 4th and 6th, and now they're coming back.
In a big way. Very difficult ball. Look, he looks like a little like Michael Jordan there. That tongue hanging out. A little messy in the air.
He liked it. Lubo was just shy of scoring 16 in the first day. Look at that, 16.033.
They've got their own special elixir. Now, Spiridonov of Germany, it's our first look at him. Evgeny Spiridonov.
Yeah, he was part of the German team that placed 4th in 2008 in Beijing.
Born in the Soviet Union, that's where the name comes from, and moved to Germany about 9 years ago.
And he will be the first gymnast on the high bar we're going to see that's going to try some high flying stuff. It starts right here in combination. Watch this. Very difficult. Nicely done. One more. He'll do a full twist on this one. Little close to the bar, had to bend his elbows. But very, very hard stuff.
You know, Tim, there are so many ways to get your points here, but I tell you, for the audience, they want to see the high-flying stuff.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Everyone
so
does.
do I. It's unfortunate that some of the other stuff is rewarded so well.
You just can't see it, can't appreciate it.
No major mistakes by the Germans so far. Coming into this rotation, Fabian Haubuchen and his team in first place.
Yeah, very strong exercise. I think he could have had that dismount, though, and it just stood up a little bit quickly. But those pirouetting sequences, they're leading the Chinese, right? Well, that skill is named after a Chinese gymnast, Zhou Li Min. That one-arm skill. And look, right here.
Yep.
Just kind of got a little antsy.
So Spiridonov waits for his number, is Chen Yibing. Wow, was he dazzling on the still rings.
Upper body, he can crush that table.
Jeez.
And that, see, I love that vault. That was phenomenal, beautiful in the air. Gonna get a big deduction for the landing, but just big, huge jump off that table.
Tim, his body is moving in all sorts of directions. How could he possibly get all that inertia under control to stick the landing?
Yeah, that's the problem.
They are so relaxed.
And that, you know,
Look at
that's
the smiles.
that score. I don't get that when you compare it. I think it was too low.
Back to the Americans, stuck in last place since the very first rotation. Here's Jonathan Horton on the parallel bars. Big cheer for the Americans.
I've never seen Jonathan look more ready and more prepared than he does at these World Championships. He's an Olympic silver medalist on high bar. Beautiful release skill. He's part of the bronze medal winning team, but he looks better here than ever.
Well, Jonathan does say that the most important thing to him right now is the team. He'll put all the individual stuff aside. He's doing this for the team. He wants a medal.
And you hear the team.
Yeah.
Chris Brooks and
He is
Stephen
vocal.
Legendre. Oh, wow.
That's classic.
That was a great routine for Jonathan Horton.
And it is very well received.
Beautiful dismount, rocks the landing. Getting the job done. Boy, what a hole to try to dig out of, though, Al. Remember, back to Pommel Horse, they had, you know, one major error and some struggles.
That's the first, what you'd consider to be sort of low score for the Germans, 14.366.
Oh, this won't be.
Yeah. Olympic bronze medalist on this event.
And really, going into the Olympic Games was considered almost a lock to win gold, but his entire Olympic experience, he said that he just got way too serious. He became someone that he wasn't, and it didn't work at all. So he'll never do it again. Watch this. Huge release.
Oh.
One more with a full. So difficult in combination. Here's another combination we've seen gymnasts already struggle on, but not Fabian. Go, Fabi, go.
Yeah. Brought it down that dismount a wee bit.
Yeah, he usually does a double twisting double, but that.
A little ham in that Buchen,
Yeah, oh
Elfie.
boy.
Yeah.
15.7 is what he scored for his team on the first day.
He's going to get a very, very big number.
He's exciting on high bar. I mean, he's throwing all the great skills.
And these new Chinese faces just keep coming at us. Feng Jie.
crazy.
Oh.
They spin so quickly.
Once again, that triple twist.
Crazy.
Very, very difficult to get this done.
Now, I'm interested to see what the judges do, because this is a lot like the prior Chinese vault.
Yep.
We'll get the score. Danelle Leva. Jonathan Horton, 15.2.
And they really can get some momentum going here. This is a great event for Danelle.
You know, his dad is not on the floor. You just wonder how that affects him, because they have this whole ritual before they do their routines, and he's not doing it.
His dad obviously has coached too.
Well, there was some talk. I mean, he's screaming and yelling and high-fiving, and everyone wondered how would that play out.
Oh, that was a big mistake. Just was a little under.
Oh, that hurts. Yeah, that one hurts.
Not a disaster, but, you know, the USA is going to give away 6, 7 tenths on that error right there.
Hey, nice set, man. Beautiful set.
All right, so Hamburg and company get a 15.933. We will check things out after the 4th rotation in Rotterdam. They've completed 4 rotations, and Germany, China, and Japan have distanced themselves. Now, the United States got a 14-7 on Danelle Leva's parallel bars, and, well, math is funny sometimes. They move up into 4th. As Russia has fallen, Korea has fallen, they started the day in 1st. But the United States is still 4 points out of the medal story right now. So they've made a comeback, they've made some strides, but they need some help. We stick with the Chinese, who are coming on. This is Liu Bo on the parallel bars.
And if there's an event where I would say they are most dominant, it's parallel bars. You see his arms are covered with a little protective padding with leaning on it.
Yeah.
Why doesn't everybody wear those?
I have no idea. If you watch this routine, this is just a punishing exercise. Constantly slamming his body down on those arms.
And that's what really sets them apart, is they're not afraid to take the risk on those types of skills, the double flips. But he's still so light, so cat-like. It's gorgeous.
They just keep coming. This routine, you think it's over, and it's only halfway there. Another big release.
Ouch.
Next on pommel horse from Korea, Chung Yoon Han.
And next on high bar for United
Beautiful
States of America, Jonathan
handstand
Walker.
position. His dismount. Wow. Step on the landing, a little bit piked over on the landing. That'll be a deduction too, but geez, just crazy hard stuff. Look at the arms. What do you think that feels like every day? They're permanently bruised, just slamming down onto those
And
bars.
those wraps aren't padded.
How many times would he do that release move in an average practice day?
He would do all of those releases probably 3 to 4 times.
Oh, and by the way, don't get hurt.
Yeah.
Back to the story of the first place Germans, Philip Boy.
If you had told the Germans that they would be leading the world championships at this point in time, they would have laughed. I would have laughed too.
Well, certainly one of the reasons they're in this position is this man right here. He has quality gymnastics.
So clean. He's just so clean in everything that he does. Doesn't ever look rushed. Kicks out of his skills, showing a good position, even on the rollouts. Do a little bit of pommel horse on the floor now.
This never gets old. Always love seeing this on floor.
You see in the corner there, that 44 seconds. You have to complete your routine by 70 seconds. And the gymnasts are doing such long routines that it is absolutely exhausting. Triple twist. The biggest error in the exercise was on the dismount, but that was a very good routine. Bear in mind, though, floor exercise is one of the lowest scoring events in men's gymnastics.
Yeah, Philip was just slightly above 14.7 in the first day.
Hopefully the Germans have to be pinching themselves a little bit here.
Yeah, but they'll take it. I mean, you know, this team has been on the rise since 2007. We saw the momentum start back at those World Championships in Stuttgart.
But remember, they are without their national all-around champion, and
it's a bit scary.
Fabian Hamhuken is only doing 4 events.
Can you imagine when they add them to the mix?
Back to the Chinese, Tong Hai Bin.
He's just so light. It makes it look so easy. He'll also do some release skills. Beautiful peach basket right there.
And what's great is they're all very consistent. Like you said, Tim, this is one of their stellar events. But every routine, very consistent in their scores.
We all have so many great memories of that trip to Beijing in those 2 weeks. And of what those Chinese men did, and the Silk Market, and the Great Wall, and the Bird's Nest, and the Water Cube. The Bird's Nest is now an amusement park, and the Water Cube is a swim complex.
Crazy. Everything he did in the routine, he did with finesse. He didn't just get through, and that's the whole difference.
Philippe Boy, 14.866.
It's actually a good score for floor.
He says Dankeschön for that. And back to Daniel Leva. Remember, his dad not on the podium here, and I got into the thought earlier that there was some thought as to how his act, quote unquote, would play out on the world stage.
Well, he's watching somewhere up there. We'll hear him, I'm sure.
Daniel qualified for finals on this event.
Yeah, well deserved.
He does one of the best laid out Kovacs. Look at, he throws his arms out to the side. Beautiful. Now this is hard. Oh, golly. That move actually is called a Lukin, not Nastya Lukin. Her dad, Valery Lukin, has that element named after himself.
Tell you what, Tim, this is a great set.
I hear his dad screaming. Dismount here, double-double. So here is that Lukin I was talking about.
Oh, you got a great look at it, Tim.
Was a hecked over the bar, but he adds a full twist.
Last thing the judges see, the dismount, and this is gorgeous. Well above the high bar. Beautiful double twist.
Perfect.
Perfect landing.
Well, wait. The judges have given him a 14.7.
Wow.
Tong Hai Bin, 15.633.
I don't know how that's possible.
Yeah. That's cheap.
Up, correction, 15.833.
Yeah, that's...
Sorry for the hiccup.
It's a little more like it.
Feng Zhou, this actually happened before Daniel Leva.
beautiful parallel bar worker.
Yeah,
Look at the height.
I was going to say won the silver medal at last year's World Championships.
Yeah, the guy who won the gold was Chinese, and he didn't make the trip. Didn't get the plane ticket. These routines just go on and on. Another release. Another great landing.
So impressive.
Well, we can tell you Tung Hai Bin received a 15.633. This would be something like that, right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. Very difficult element. Actually, a little low on that. Doesn't get the height that he should and doesn't open his body up. But this was just gigantic as he goes completely out of the frame.
And it's better. 15.9. Now back to the Germans. Can they hold on to first place with the Chinese putting up numbers like they are? Matthias Farag on the floor.
And he is all about power. Did that great vault earlier on. And that, I think his foot was outside of the blue line. If the line is in, so you can be on it, but if it steps past it, it's a 1/10 of a point for 1 foot, 3/10 for both feet. It's so funny because he's doing very difficult tumbling runs and he hardly runs for it like he did on vault. His legs are just so powerful.
Just looking at his score from the first team competition, he was just in the mid-13s.
Yeah, he missed.
How is that physically possible?
Number falling off here. Hopefully it won't distract him. Look at the slow little jog and
yeah, that was like a little hop, skip, and a jump.
Exclamation point. Stick the landing.
Germany looks like they think they've held the lead. We're in the 5th rotation and they continue to impress with their consistency. It's got to feel great to perform like that and then have your teammates waiting to give you a high five with a smile when you get back there.
Bragging rights, pride, and medals are on.
The 5th rotation continues in Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Back to the Japanese. They've been all over the standings, but right now they're in the top 3. And wow, this Kazuhiro Tanaka represents a family that's got some strong DNA.
Yeah, it's the first time that 2 siblings have represented Japan together at a World Championships. His sister, Ri, is on the women's team, and she was the top qualifier in the all-around for her team.
And mom and dad were both
gymnasts. Imagine that.
Now, if there's a team that can rival the Chinese on parallel bars, try to come close, it is the Japanese team.
Same kind of style.
And they've probably got the same mentality as the Chinese gymnasts did heading to the Olympics in Beijing, because the World Championships next year are in Tokyo.
They are. Yeah, you cannot count this Japanese team out, I'll tell you. Dismount.
Oh, it's
absolutely gorgeous.
It was like he floated down.
Oh, that was great. The reason it looked like that, Al, is he doesn't just hold his body, he opens it up before the landing. That was great.
And now back to someone I know that you've been impressed by, David Belyavsky.
And you'll see why here. He is phenomenal. His first tumbling pass, very difficult combination, and then he'll do in his second tumbling run, I've never seen it done before. He'll do a double twisting double, but he'll do it very differently.
Yeah, here comes right here. This is a great pass.
Double full in, pike back out.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Oh.
That is heartbreaking.
That is an awesome skill. Goodness.
He's so quick and bouncy.
Well, this is their future, their comeback.
Started well for the Russians. After the third rotation, they were in second place, and now it's all gone wrong. So they're not able to feed off of the women's first ever Russian team gold medal yesterday.
Great lines. Like I said, exhausted at the end of the floor routine.
So much has happened already. Oh my goodness. These coaches have a whole lot to work with in this athlete.
Well, it's rapidly developing into a three-way battle.
Here was his mount, very tricky, a laid out full twist into a double twist, and watch, he'll do most of the twist on the first flip and then a pike back out.
Oh, he had a lot of extra.
Just pulled his feet too much underneath him, and that is a point off. Ouch.
Too bad.
Okay, so China, Japan, and Germany pulling away. Tanaka puts up a 15.458. So the pressure now on every routine left in what's left of this fifth rotation, and the 3 for each nation in the sixth. You have to figure one major mistake could cost your team the gold or silver medal.
Starts with a nice, it's called a whip it. Beautiful release. You know, it's funny, some gymnasts just, they're not willing to take the hits on a daily basis to do those releases. But Japan and China, they got a plethora of them. Wow.
Well, Japan wants to be still in this medal mix.
That release skill, double back somersault makes it much more difficult. He keeps his legs straight.
And I have to say, those types of skills, it just makes this event so much more exciting.
We see a great shot of the hands here, Al. Stutz to one bar. And gymnastics 101. Stick to landing.
And Uematsu, another good score, 15.533. This is going to be quite the sixth rotation. Might be wondering here in Rotterdam whether they had a Dutch team to cheer for. They did in the qualifying, but they finished 17th. They do have a couple of Dutch gymnasts who are involved in the event finals. Here's Anton Golotsukov of the Russian team.
He actually grabbed 2 bronze medals at the Beijing Olympic Games, one on vaulting and one on this event right here, floor exercise.
He is powerful. Tim and I both remember back in Stuttgart in 2007 how, I mean, it was just such a heroic performance that he put in order to help his team qualify to Beijing. He was injured and they needed him. They needed him to do floor exercise. I don't know how he did it, but on the spot was putting together some type of routine where he didn't have to land on his feet.
Very powerful gymnast. I would say his presentation lacking a little bit, but the sad thing is the code of points, it's not not penalized at all. They just want to see you run down and do a tumbling pass. They don't care how you look in the corners.
They want to see passes like that.
Full twisting double.
A lot of tumbling.
Very solid routine. I think it's going to be a little bit too late for Team Russia, though.
His upper body is immense.
Yeah, he's a strong guy. Very difficult. Arabian double pike with an extra half and that dismount with the great landing. Combination is actually, it's called a Thomas, named after great American gymnast Kurt Thomas.
So much pressure on these athletes and these coaches, and it comes especially when you know you may not be in it, but you want to finish like you thought you were. All right, last couple of routines now in the 5th rotation.
And this was a highlight in the first day of team competition. Kohei scored a 16.33. That is huge.
And he does this with such perfection. Watch when he does his releases, how he'll open his body. So smooth. This one right here, beautiful. Another big release. You know, he came into this competition and he's injured. His shoulder giving him problems. There was talk that he wouldn't even do all the events.
You never know it.
Never.
Gosh, that was elegant.
Tim, some of the guys come crashing down on the bars. He floats onto them.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He just is so quick and so light. I mean, he truly, a lot of the gymnastics people from around the world are saying that this guy, he might be the best that ever was.
So we have a new leader, but the top 3 nations in this World Championship are within 1 point for gold, silver, and bronze. Belotsukov gets a good score.
Amato Williams.
They have rounded up the usual suspects in Rotterdam. In the men's team final, after 3, China, Japan, and Germany seem like they're locked in a battle for gold, silver, and bronze. The United States, in 4th place, needs at least 1 miracle, maybe 2, to become part of the medals picture. Okay, 1 by 1 in this final rotation, they'll make their statements here with whatever they have or have not left.
But you know, the thing to recognize for the USA is that Germany is going to pommel horse, and that is a very tricky event.
Kazuhito Tanaka.
At the last World Championships, he was 4th in the all-around.
Well, if Japan would have their druthers to finish, this is where they'd want to finish.
Yeah, definitely. Beautiful release. Big combination here. Done extremely well. Oh. I can't believe it.
That is one of those major mistakes.
Oh. I don't know why he didn't at least give it a go. Try to hold on. He just jumps off the bar. His dowel isn't all the way around, but it's the World Championships finals, and you're trying to win a gold medal. You try to hold on. You don't jump off.
We have 3 nations separated by less than a point.
That is really bad news.
What does that cost?
That's a full point.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. And look, that's the move that he fell off on, and Here it is in combination. He does it with ease. Wow. I'll tell you what that just did. That made it a lot easier for Team China. Wow. He probably hasn't missed that move in years.
I was just about to say, anticipating a good finish. Can you imagine what the arena will sound like in Tokyo next year?
Yeah.
You won't want to hear the sound if that happens.
Yep, so once again, he didn't get all of his grip around the bar. But after you've fallen from the high bar in the last rotation of the Men's Team World Championship Finals, it's like, just get it over.
14.433. In his head, it's doubtful the Chinese will put up a number like that.
Yeah, I can't. Especially the Chinese style is very different from the Japanese. They don't take the risks. They don't do the high-flying release moves.
Koji Uematsu.
Yeah, Koji scored 15, just over 15.7. Capable of a big number here.
See speed, you know you're going to get a release. Very nicely done. Those pirouetting skills are very highly valued. Really tough stuff in this routine. Non-stop. He's great. He's great. He is a little sloppy though, but it is like jam-packed.
Gosh, this is going on forever.
Yeah, and it's one thing after another. There are no extra giants.
Tim, he sticks the landing. His feet are together the entire routine. He got some oohs and ahs from you. Where is he being sloppy?
Oh, it's just a little bit, you know, bent elbows after releases, and you know his feet were fluttering a little bit.
There's Sergei Korokordin, the Russians just trying to finish it out proud.
And this guy, he does pommel horse with biceps.
Pure strength holding him up in that position.
He's good on horse, but remember when we saw the Chinese, how high the hips were? You see his hips are kind of bumping the pommels there as he's going back. Those are deductions.
But he gets the job done.
Yes, he does. Like I said, good on pommel horse, but just not at that level like the Chinese.
Well, this is what good teammates do. Uematsu puts up a 16.3033, which averages out the first two scores to a 15.2. Okay, that doesn't sound that bad. And Kohai Uchimura.
That was actually higher than I thought it was going to be. I thought there were some errors in that routine. If you want a guy to close it out, it's this man right here. Once again, like he did on parallel bars, he'll do these release skills and he will just kick his body out. Open it up like that.
And it floats. I mean, parallel bars, high bar.
I think that's great. Oh, gosh. He went the wrong way. He was supposed to go over the bar. We've seen that. Saw that from the Russian earlier today. Another release right here. Beautiful. Just his dismount.
To watch this gymnastics all day.
He truly is godlike. I mean, it's being a gymnast myself, a long time ago. I watch him and I just am so completely and utterly amazed and enchanted. It's
Well, he pulls that off next year in Tokyo. It will rock the building. So the Japanese recover from the first bad score. Korakardin 14.233. Uchimura 15.133. So that's about the average for the Japanese. The Chinese men finish on the high bar, and the bad news for the Germans, who are in first place, they're headed to the pommel horse.
Amato Williams.
Final performances now in the team final. The injury-depleted Germans against the Chinese and their never-ending supply of recruits. Feng Jia on the high bar, and we have great anticipation for what comes for the Germans on the pommel horse, because there's so much history on that apparatus.
And you know, the Chinese really attack high bar in a very different way. A long time ago, they were the ones that were doing the high-flying releases, but they had a lot of mishaps. And nowadays, they just do the things that they know that they're going to be able to grab the bar on.
And
very conservative.
And there has been a lot of criticism over the years because of that they're just not exciting on high bar.
Well, the rules are wrong. I mean, yes, this was good. Nice combination, but when you got guys doing 3 Kovacs, you know, one in laid out, one with a full twist, you know, it doesn't compare. Basically what they do is they work the rules, and they do a very good job of it. But I'm not a fan.
It is an odd thing when a sport doesn't reward the spectacular.
Yeah.
Well, we were witness to that in 2004, weren't we? High bar with Nemeth.
Yep. But that's a hit set. And, you know, Japan, they really opened the door.
All right, now the transplanted Russian, Evgeny Spiridonov.
Absolutely mind-blowing. I cannot believe that they're in this position with all the adversity that they've had to deal with. The Americans are on floor, as you heard the PA announcer saying that Jonathan is about to go. Brandon Wynn opened with a 14.3, which is a good score. But really what the Americans need is they need Germans to fall off the pommel horse. And that, whoa, that was close.
He is not falling off. No.
Significant deductions, but he stayed on. That one pommel work is the most nerve-wracking on horse.
Feng Jia, 15.133. I mean, nothing crazy.
No, yeah.
Now Zhang Qinglong on the high bar.
And he actually is the replacement to Zhou Kai, who won both floor exercise and high bar. They said, this guy's better. He's better. So a double gold medal, actually a triple gold medalist from the Beijing Olympic Games, is not here, and last year's world champion.
He had a big number in the first day of the competition, 15.766.
Beautiful combination. If he makes his routine, watch this, he's gonna grab mixed grip. Very hard. This is difficult stuff without question. But those elements that fly over the bar with flips, they're called Kovacs. We don't see them from the Chinese. Big time. This is going to get a very big score. Dismount, 2 flips, 2 twists. Takes that step on the landing, but pretty darn good.
Okay, we'll await the score. Here's Philip Boy. The judges did not love what Spiridonov did on the pommel horse. They gave him a 13.6.
So there was a little bit of an opportunity for the Americans, but Jonathan struggled a little bit on floor. Scored a 14.0.
Just as Philip's been doing all day. Clean, artistic gymnastics.
That he has. Unbelievable.
The Germans are having a good time, and the Chinese, who have developed into an exuberant bunch, have gone a little quiet. Zhang Chenglong, 15.9. That's big time.
Huge number.
All right, the final. Chinese performer, and he's got a little room for error here. All he needs is 13.773 to win the gold medal.
And that is simple. But I got to tell you that in a big competition just like this, the Olympic Games in 2004, he fell apart in the team finals. And China finished totally out of the medals, which was unthinkable. That was a little bizarre. Kind of kept his legs straddled a little too long. My guess is that was supposed to be connected, but because they just need a easy score, they decided not to do it. That is kind of China's way. When they are winning, they will definitely be careful and conservative.
Well, he was just a little better than 14.5 in the first day, and I'll do it.
Now we're going crazy.
They are the world champions.
They started in 5th. They dropped to 6th, moved up to 4th. And now they are in the lead for good today. Last performance by the United States, Stephen Legendre. You know, Tim, we're still going to do the final match here, but I think the United States is going to miss a medal by a little over 3 points. So if you look back on what they did on pommel horse, if instead of getting in the 13s, they got into the 14s, which is nothing spectacular.
Right.
This could have been so different.
Yeah, it could have.
Stephen had one of the highest scores of the competition.
He did, yeah, on vaulting. So that's why he was chosen for this team, with floor exercise and vaulting. And
Of course, we're going to see Stephen in event finals on floor exercise, qualified there.
he truly is great in this event. But you know, you just can't make mistakes. You know, you can't go through a competition, and you can't start the competition out like the USA did. That's all there is to it.
And that was exactly what they didn't want to do.
Yes, they were down by 8 points after that first rotation. Let's zoom over to the pommel horse. Our first look at Sebastian Krimmer closing things out for the Germans.
So he would have to not just fall off, but he would have to get injured and not be able to complete his routine for the USA to have won.
And they don't care what color it
They're
is.
starting early.
Souvenirs to take home to Germany. So China's happy with their status. Tang Habin gets a 15. They're getting used to this now as they have officially become a new dynasty in a nation known for dynasties. Germany loves their bronze medal, and Japan a little stoic at what might have been. They thought that they were headed towards something better, taking the silver. We'll hear from Jonathan Horton after this. Set to receive their gold medal, a country getting used to this. They've won 7 out of the last 8 world team titles. They are happy, the Chinese, with their gold medal, but the Germans are very satisfied with their bronze medal. Here's what Fabian Hambuchen had to say.
Just amazing. Nobody expected that because I couldn't do the all-around and another guy from us got injured before, so we just thought just try to hit all routines, and we did that, and now we got third. It's just incredible.
Photo opportunity. Many of those backstage for the Chinese men. An almost comeback for the United States. John McCready spoke to Jonathan Horton.
I feel really good. I'm extremely proud of the team as a whole. We fought through everything. You know, we knew that we needed a strong start from Pommel Horse. Didn't exactly start like we wanted. We had some breaks, but nobody quit. We're a fighting team, and we live by this motto: no fear, no regrets. And I don't think anyone regrets anything that they did today. We're walking out here with our heads up, and I said a couple days ago we'd be disappointed without a medal. We are disappointed we don't have a medal, but the great thing about disappointment is it makes you stronger. We'll walk out of here. We know what we need to work on. We need to clean up a little bit, and it's only going to make us a better team for next year.
Jonathan Horton embraces the status of one of the leaders of Team USA, and they were so down early, behind by 8 points after one rotation. They needed some good news, some sign that a comeback was possible, and that dismount and routine on the parallel bars was one of the things that delivered that message to his team. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel back with you. You know, Tim, for the world of gymnastics, you look at the sheer size of the population of China, and you think that if they continue to be dedicated to this sport and continue to pass on from generation to generation a love of this sport, they may be able to keep this going for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I can't see an end to it, to be perfectly honest. They have such an unbelievable machine that creates these athletes. It starts very, very young. They are chosen out of preschool, and they go into this system, and they're amazing. And today they were fantastic. They didn't make mistakes.
Unlike the American women who thought a gold was a just miss, this really wasn't a just miss for the American men, not when you start in a deficit like that. So, Elfie, as they regroup and the next major championship is in Tokyo next fall, what should they do? What are the little things that they could do to give themselves an edge of confidence?
Well, I think, first of all, buy a pommel horse from Japan and send it to every gym with all the major athletes. I mean, I'm not kidding. That is a serious problem, and they need to really address that. You can't just go into a world championship and think, okay, we're great on some of these events. Pommel horse has always been a problem, a big problem. They need to figure that one out.
And not only for the United States. What do you do to get better on the pommel horse?
It's the basic circle that some of these guys are lacking. The thing that's funny, though, is in the U.S., we historically have had great junior gymnasts that were excellent on pommel horse, and by the time they get to the top, it's not there anymore.
All right, our coverage continues on NBC over the weekend of the 2010 World Gymnastics Championships. We'll have coverage of the women's all-around, the men's all-around, and the event finals. The Chinese men wear red, and they wear gold. And it's that gold part that seems to be the perfect choice. Thanks for joining us. Al Troutwig, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel. So long on Universal Sports.